Hello, this is Alcatraz here, gonna show off my freshly level 88 Necro, um, my block Necro that is based off the new, well not the new, the old Bringer of Rain that gives a juicy 15% chance to block. It's really nice. That combined with Bone Offering gives us a flat 49% chance to block attacks. Combine that with Arumi's, and it gives us 64% chance to block attacks and 43% chance to block spells. That's on this. It's not very well rolled. It can gain another 5% on the the attacks, and I think another 1% on the spell block. It can also gain another 15% block if you are using a Advancing Fortress, which this build originally was going to use, but when I saw that the new Montreal's Grasp was coming out, I decided to switch that up and go for more offensive setup with the zombies instead of defensive. This build is on Legacy Softcore, but can be replicated on Hardcore as it is very safe and very easy to avoid damage, as it has quite a few layers of defense, that being minions, block. It also takes Mind Over Matter, and the new Mind Over Matter with these modes here are very, very strong. For the passive tree, it's a fairly standard Animate weapon setup, because that's our main skill, Animate weapon on spell turn, melee splash, minion damage, linked with the things inside the Bringer of Rain that come with it, which are incredibly OP. 18% blind is another thing that gets stacked on top of our defense, and the melee fizz and the faster attacks are insane. Damage output for Animate weapon with the new cap of 50. You have 50 weapons dealing such an insane amount of damage very quickly, and it kills most bosses very, very easily. That being said, I haven't taken it past tier 10s yet. For the passive tree, standard, stock standard, Animate weapon, totem build, taken from any build that you can find. It'll be detailed in the guide below, more in depth. But I leveled through the spell damage actually as Flame, the Firestorm, and then switched into SRS around 50, 45, 50, and then switched into Animate weapon once I had a normal Bringer of Rain, which this build can be done on a normal Bringer of Rain, but the block chance goes down quite a bit. So it is important to try and get a Legacy Bringer of Rain, and also a nice shiny Legacy Roomies if you can afford it, which I am saving up for now. Just a little bit of currency that I don't have right now. As for gear, I'm using a Montreal's Grasp, a Victoria's Charity, which is pretty necessary. With Necromantic Aegis, it helps a bunch, giving your minions power charges and frenzy charges. It's very, very helpful. And for the rest, it's just gear to fill in life and res. As for my links, I am using Ray Zombie, multi-strike, minion speed, and minion damage for my offensive zombies. Which multi-strike, you don't need melee splash with these new jewels. 2 of the Violent Dead jewels means that they attack very, very fast. They slam, and that deals the AoE damage fairly effectively. They don't really need melee splash with 2 of these jewels. They make great damage dealers and AoE clearers. I can clear a lot of maps just with the zombies and no weapons animated at all. So they do a great job with that. My temp chains is linked to blasphemy. My desecrate and haste are also in my gloves, but they don't need to be linked to anything. Um, my flame dash, bone offering, and enfeeble in my weapon. Enfeeble is self cast, um, as it is used to direct the minions. Um, Animate weapon, spell totem, melee splash, many damage. It's stock standard. It's not stock standard, but whatever. My stone golem is to minion life, and my clarity is also in there. The clarity is just for extra damage increased, 10% increased damage versus Commander of Darkness. Uh, for ascendancy points, definitely grab Mistress of Sacrifice first. It'll increase your leveling speed insanely, especially if you are SRS. Um, I'd recommend doing that as soon as you possibly can. And then I grab Spirit Eater next, because yeah, again, increased damage, additional corpses is great for Desecrate because then you get to consume more with your bone offering, so these last longer. Uh, and increased cast speed and attack speed is pretty good because you get to run around and cast just a bit more. Get those enfeebles out. Commander of Darkness is the one I took from Merc Lab, and I would take Beacon of Corruption. Um, if I wasn't using a Montreal's Grasp, I would take Fleshbinder. Um, Instead of using a Montreal's Grasp, you can use an Advancing Fortress, which gives another flat 15% um, block chance, which is great. Which will take you up to another, yeah, it'll take you up to block cap fairly easily. Um, but yeah, the reason I'm not running that is because Montreal's Grouse was new and I wanted to try it out. Um, and it seems to be doing quite well. And there'll be a quick clip of me doing a map and possibly the boss at the end to show you how the build works. But thanks for watching. Weapons.